In the gentle light of early morning, the forest canopy stirs with life. JAZZY, a new mother, carries her infant with delicate care as she moves toward Button, another mother in the troop who has just given birth. This is more than a casual visit. It is a quiet communion between mothers, a sharing of the profound transition they have both experienced. On the branches nearby, other group members like Nanda gather, offering soft vocalizations their way of greeting new life. JAZZY sits with Button for a long while, their closeness speaking of encouragement, solidarity, and the unspoken bond of motherhood that transcends species. After this tender time with Button, JAZZY makes a deliberate choice. She descends from the safety of the trees to the forest floor, settling her infant on solid ground. Here, away from the swaying branches, begins the first intentional lesson, the monumental task of learning to walk. This is where her little one will discover balance, strength, and independence, guided by a mother's patient presence. Arriving at a new, open space, JAZZY gently places her infant down. She takes a few careful steps forward, then pauses, looking back with encouraging eyes. The infant sways, wobbles, attempts to follow. A short while later, JAZZY sweeps her child back into the safety of her embrace, nuzzling affectionately before moving to another location. Each new spot is carefully chosen, a safe classroom in nature's vast school. But the forest is not without its challenges. As they practice, another troop member approaches with unclear intentions. Immediately sensing potential harm, JAZZY scoops up her infant and emits sharp alarm calls, signals for help that echo through the trees. Yet today, no assistance comes. Mother and child are alone in facing this uncertainty, a reminder that even in community, a mother's primary protection is her own vigilance. When the threat passes, JAZZY finds a large, flat stone to rest upon, her infant held close to her chest. In this moment of respite, her sister Yona arrives, settling beside them. No words are needed between siblings. Yona's presence itself is a comfort, creating a small circle of safety in the vast forest. Seeing the situation has calmed, JAZZY and Yona bring their young charges to the ground to play. JAZZY's infant begins again the patient work of walking, moving in small, unsteady circles around its mother, forward, back, forward again. Each tentative step builds confidence. Each stumble teaches resilience, all under the watchful eyes of mother and aunt. Observing from our respectful distance, we witness pure determination. Jazzy's infant tries with all its might, walking, falling, rising to try again. There is no giving up in this little body, only the relentless drive to master what its instincts say must be learned. This is the raw persistence of life itself, unfolding before us. Jazzy and Yana sit as attentive guardians, their observation both loving and calculated. They understand the delicate balance between allowing exploration and ensuring safety. Their help is subtle, a steadying hand placed nearby when balance falters, a soft touch of reassurance. They embody the ancient wisdom of motherhood: protect, but do not hinder; guide, but do not control. Suddenly, Jazzy's entire body tenses. She detects something in her peripheral vision movement: intention, potential threat. In one fluid motion, she gathers her infant against her chest, her arms forming a protective shield. Even in moments of peace, a mother's vigilance never truly rests. Her senses remain tuned to the frequency of danger, always ready to respond. When calm returns once more, Jazzy allows her infant to resume walking practice, but now within a much smaller radius. The infant stays close to mother and aunt, each step monitored, each wobble noted. Independence must be balanced with protection. Exploration must be tempered by caution. These are the first lessons in survival. Human visitors arrive, bringing bananas, a welcomed offering. Jazzy accepts them, but does not eat alone. Instead, she places pieces on a stone, guiding her infant's hands and mouth toward the food. First walking, now feeding, each essential skill is taught with the same patient attention. The mother provides not just nourishment, but the knowledge of how to obtain it. With some nourishment taken, the infant continues its walking practice on the uneven stone surface. Jazzy and Yona maintain their vigilant watch guardian statues in a living classroom. Each stumble on the stone teaches texture, balance, and recovery. Each success builds the confidence that will one day mean survival. The troop begins to move, and Jazzy joins the journey with her infant. Yet even in travel, education continues. When the terrain allows, she sets her little one down to walk beside her. The forest path becomes a classroom, every root and stone a teaching tool, every distance covered a lesson in endurance. At a suitable spot, Jazzy gives a soft, specific vocalization, a signal unmistakable to her infant. It is time to walk. She gently encourages forward movement, teaching not just the physical act of walking, but the communication that will govern their relationship for years to come. The infant moves in careful circles, exploring the limits of its growing abilities. Jazzy watches with that particular maternal gaze, both proud and protective, encouraging yet ready to intervene. This dance between independence and protection is the essence of parenting, seen here in its most fundamental form. Jazzy carries her infant to where Yona waits. Here a different kind of bonding occurs. Jazzy checks her sister, grooms her, cleans her fur. These acts of care reinforce social bonds even as they maintain hygiene. The infant watches, learning that community extends beyond the mother-child bond. As the infant practices on the stone, Yona reaches out as if to carry her niece away. Jazzy reacts immediately, reclaiming her child with firm but gentle determination. This subtle negotiation between sisters reveals the complex social dynamics at play: affection, possessiveness, and the primal understanding that a mother is the primary guardian. Again and again, Yona shows interest in holding the infant. Again and again, Jazzy gently but definitively maintains possession. This is not conflict, but negotiation, attesting and reaffirming of boundaries within the safety of family. Each interaction teaches the infant about relationships, trust, and hierarchy. Eventually, Jazzy keeps her infant pressed securely to her chest, ending the gentle tug-of-war. Her message is clear and unwavering. You are mine to protect. This is the fundamental truth of motherhood across species, an unbreakable bond, a sacred responsibility. Jazzy moves to another location, seeking quiet and safety. Yona follows a loyal shadow, a supportive sister. Together, they form a mobile unit of care and protection, navigating the complex social landscape of the troop while prioritizing the infant's safety. Jazzy sits quietly, her infant held close, her eyes scanning the troop members moving in the distance. She must balance her infant's needs with the demands of community life. Soon, she will need to follow the troop, but for now, she claims this moment of stillness, of peace, of pure maternal presence. At a new location, Jazzy discovers coconuts. As she and Yona eat, the infant practices walking on the challenging, uneven ground. It stumbles frequently, but consistently rights itself. Jazzy watches while eating, mastering the art of multitasking that defines motherhood in the wild. She nourishes herself to nourish her child, even as she guides its development. Once the coconut is consumed, Jazzy lets her infant investigate the remnants, sniffing, licking, exploring. Every texture, every taste, every smell is data for the growing mind. Education in the wild is constant and multisensory. The world itself is the curriculum. Caregivers provide Jazzy with supplemental milk. She drinks deliberately, knowing her health directly impacts her infant's well-being. A mother in the wild must care for herself to care for her young. The milk she produces will fuel not just growth, but the energy needed for all these walking lessons. Refreshed, Jazzy brings her infant to Nanda, another mother with an older, more confident child. The infants interact Jazzy's child, observing, imitating, learning through social engagement. Jazzy herself engages with Nanda's child, demonstrating that care can extend beyond one's own offspring.
Còn một số cái lan nào sống một thu lan thì phải dùng là nó trâu cái môi rồi một số ai đỡ ô bán là nó ra rồi rinh nó đo hết này chỉ phải ọc xăng nó phải làm ọc xăng nó lên lên mình phải đưa chạy xăng mà mà giờ nó chạy rồi chút ít này chăm tí chú với thọt này mà clip này bạn đến lần mà nhớ khơi này chú biết này.
Suddenly, tension erupts. An older female named Lonnie charges toward Nanda's child. In the ensuing chaos, Jazzy and Nanda scatter with their infants held tight. Jazzy finds another stone, another temporary sanctuary. The forest's peace is fragile, constantly disrupted by the complex dynamics of troop life. Yona arrives once more, staying particularly close today. She does not wander as she sometimes does. Her focus is on supporting her sister and protecting her niece. This loyalty between sisters forms a protective web around the vulnerable infant.
Zoom như là con tôi mình
chứ mình chuột
zoom nó cấp của mình để bị đó đặt chết chung
Conflict breaks out among other troop members, chasing, shrieking, confusion. Two younger monkeys confront Yona, but she stands her ground, larger and more confident. Their alarm calls go unanswered by the rest of the troop. Eventually, the tension dissipates, leaving an uneasy quiet. Even in community, individuals often face challenges alone. Peace gradually returns. Jazzy and Yona sit together, the infant nestled between them. The forest seems to exhale. In these quiet moments, the bonds of family are strengthened, the trauma of conflict processed, and resilience built for whatever comes next. Human friends arrive bearing fruit, bananas, mangoes, other treats. Jazzy accepts them eagerly but eats with haste, knowing that in the troop, food can quickly become a source of competition. She must nourish herself efficiently while the opportunity exists. Nearby, Jazzy's close friend Saxo arrives with her own infant. Jazzy moves to greet her, but we notice something different. Saxo clutches her child tightly, refusing to let it down. Her anxiety is palpable. She seems to fear that even friendly interactions might put her infant at risk. Different mothers, different temperaments, different approaches to the same sacred duty.
sengit dia. Dia kan dia senang ngồi.
Đập
Chỗ nào để tôi ốp. Mới nên quý ốp dạ xong nó sao hiền nó vô nàng quý ốp với ốp nó cấp sẵn nào. Ang kinahin quý ốp mình tạo tâm kẹt. Rớt lao này. Rớt mến. Coi như anh ấy rớt nói.
Tôi cảm đó.
Ở chỗ xong tích à.
After this interaction, Jazzy returns to Yona and her infant. They rest together, a small island of calm in the ever-changing social sea of troop life. The infant sleeps briefly, recharging for more learning, while the adults maintain their watchful vigilance. Light begins to fade, painting the canopy in shades of gold and amber. Jazzy listens intently, waiting for the troop leader's call, the signal that will guide them to tonight's sleeping trees. She gathers her infant close, Yona rising beside her. Another day of lessons concludes. Witnessed something extraordinary in its ordinariness. Jazzy's infant has walked farther, fallen more, risen again more times than we could count. Through every attempt, Jazzy has been there, not walking for her child, but walking with her. Not preventing every fall, but being there when falls occur. This is the essence of motherhood across species. The patient guidance, the protective love, the gradual letting go that must begin, even as the holding remains essential. In Jazzy's calm eyes, in her patient presence, in her unwavering vigilance, we see reflected the universal truth of parenting. It is in the balance between holding close and letting go, between protection and permission, between the instinct to shelter and the wisdom to allow growth. As darkness embraces the forest and the troop settles for the night, Jazzy's infant sleeps against her chest. Tomorrow, there will be more steps to take, more ground to cover, more lessons to learn, and Jazzy will be there, the first teacher, the constant protector, the guiding love that makes all growth possible.